Okay, you should see me now. Good morning. If you're here, why don't you let me know that you're here and say hello. If you're signed in, then I will see your name. Hello, Lise. It's Lise Ouellette. At any rate, I just finished preaching the service here on site, and I am available to talk about that sermon a little bit more right here, and you're very welcome to ask any questions, or if you have any comments, I'm ready to go through some of that with you right now. Let me know if you're not hearing me right, or if it's working. So far, I see 4 people here that are present. So my sermon this morning was chain reaction. Of course, I'm playing with the words because the Apostle Paul was in chains. But his reaction to those chains was that he saw a new opportunity, a new challenge to share the gospel in a completely different context. So he did what he was always good at, and that is sharing about who Christ is and what Jesus did in his life, and it had an impact in Rome, and this is what he's talking about in the first chapter of Philippians. So if you have again any questions, comments, feel free to write them right here. I feel like a radio show host, waiting for people to call in. Call in now. It's 514-363-1500. Actually, don't call in that phone number because I probably won't answer it. That's the church phone number. Right. So, did you enjoy the sermon, or did you have time to listen to it already? And give me your comments now. The main idea of my sermon was the chain reaction was that Paul recognized that he was in chains and noticed that Christ was preached anyways, that the good news of Christ was spreading, including right there with the guards that were with him at that moment. And excuse me, because of that, he rejoices. He rejoiced. And that was his chain reaction. And what I'm basically saying is that we can have a chain reaction like that as well in our own lives. That we can recognize that there are things that are slowing us down. There are things that are impeding our progress, doing the things the way that we normally do them. And yet the purposes of Christ are realized through us anyways. And I think the most difficult thing about this is the fact that we as a society, and especially in Canada and the United States, we are extremely self-centered, and we believe that all of God's purposes and all of that relates to our happiness, our health, us, and that is not the case. That's just not the case. The Scripture bears it out, but we cannot live happily with the concept that we are the center of our own universes, and but we can find joy in the purposes of God, and seeing other people come to know Him and learn about Him. And when we recognize God's purposes in our lives, that's when we can kind of get off the selfish focus and find joy in Him. And this is what the Apostle Paul was rejoicing at. I'm not getting any questions here. Does anybody have anything to say? It is now 12 minutes, I think it's 14 minutes past the hour. There's 6 people that are connected. If you have any comments, questions, please put them in now. One of the things that I talked about was Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I didn't show a picture of it, but I'm sure if you studied psychology at all, I mean even high school psychology, you'll probably encounter Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's that triangle, where the bottom part is the most basic needs, breathing, eating, drinking, these kinds of things, and then as you move up the triangle, the idea is less and less people get to the top. Except in Canada, I believe that most people would get very close to the top. The top being self-actualization, where you are actually using the gifts that God has given you. You have, you've developed talents in your life, and you're actually, you see the use of them. You have fruit. You see fruit in your life based on those talents and those gifts that you have. So self-actualization. So the idea many people have is that if I reach, just the next level, if I have my needs met, then I'm going to be a joyful person. And of course, there's many people that kind of get that mixed up in Christianity, making God to be the person that is going to help me meet my needs. And of course, God is much more than a Santa Claus. I'm not sure that He's a Santa Claus at all, actually. And so the purpose of God's existence is not to meet my needs. But besides that, people are not happier just because they have their needs met. You can have a person who has reached the highest levels of self-actualization. You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of the Hollywood stars, for instance. I know maybe it's a bad example, okay, but these are people that have recognized what their talent and their gifting is in life. They're good at acting, and so they, in some sense, have self-actualized, and through that self-actualization, they have become very rich. They have reached all the levels, according to Maslow, anyways, all the levels of needs in their lives, and yet you will not find a sadder group of people than those that live in Hollywood. The suicide rate among famous people is extremely high. So the only point I'm making by all of that is that happiness doesn't come from having your needs met. It really doesn't. And so it's unfortunate for us to be even seeing God in that way, because this is not the way that we can have joy in our lives. And so, yeah, I encourage you actually to read this article that was in the New York Times. I don't even know if this guy's a Christian or not. Maybe I doubt it. I don't think so. But he says something extremely profound with this statement when he says even physical health, when it's devoid of a greater purpose, starts to look like a hollow value. In other words, we're running after health. The whole world now is running after health and doing everything we can as if that is the central issue, of life, and certainly it is an important thing. But if there is no greater purpose, in other words, why do I have health? Why do I live? And these are questions that most people have difficulty answering. Why am I alive? Why do I exist as a person? The materialist will not have an answer for that. They find it very difficult to be talking about issues like that. Well, we are because we are. That's it, right? And yeah. Now I'm thinking maybe there's. I hope there isn't anything wrong with the chat, because I'm not getting any responses. At any rate, I kind of wanted. I just reviewed some of the ideas that I just preached about. I ended with Luke chapter 2, verse 10. The angel of the Lord said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy." The good news of Jesus causes great joy. It's not our needs being met. It's not being super healthy, protected from COVID, these things don't bring joy. But the good news of Jesus brings joy. It's good news that causes great joy to happen in our lives, and this is what I wish for you today, and I'm hoping that some of you heard this, and if you haven't, the sermon is recorded, and you'll be able to hear it. And I am going to end the stream now, and I really hope this worked. But I didn't get any comments or questions, so it's hard for me to continue talking here. But hey, thanks a lot for joining us this Sunday. We had a great Sunday. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.